when the president's office and the provost's office can run roughshod over tenure. If you want to have a university with professors who are PhD qualified to teach your classes, then you need tenure. The people who are teaching in these courses offered by Phoenix University, offered by Ashland University, offered by Kaplan University, these are not tenured professors. There's no tenure at Kaplan, there's no tenure at Phoenix. But they're also not PhD qualified faculty, and they don't meet students in classes. So whatever your major is threatened by this full frontal attack on tenure.
Susan, could you explain what tenure is to people who don't know?
Tenure. How many of you know what tenure is?
Woo!
All of you, all right.
I used to know what it was.
John is going to explain to you what tenure used to be.
And before I say that, let me say that this right here is the face of retrenchment. Right here. Okay? So all right, so it's not just these individuals, these faculty members that you love so much, it's them. And we heard Paul Christensen with a 1-year-old mentoring, taking his time out. So this right here, Ariana Mortello, student at USM right now, and this will be her last semester with that 50% discount. Okay, here, this is the face of retrenchment. So tenure system is this. The idea is that the job of a faculty member is to teach, and to teach you have to have freedom. You have to be able to pursue questions openly, honestly, without fear that you have to give the right answers. And so in order to do that, you have to not be afraid. You don't ask the question unless you want to know what the answer is. And you want to not have the fear to say something that those in power don't want you to say. And so tenure is a system in place that if you work hard, if you do your research, are qualified, excellent teacher, if you do your service, those are our 3 areas, teaching, research, and service. If you do that well in your 6th year, right, you will either be fired if you haven't done it well, or you will have tenure. And what that freedom tenure means, that you can't be fired. Right? You can't be fired unless you do something outrageous. Not like stellar performance. You'd have to, which is what I got in my last review, stellar performance. You don't get fired for that. In my post-tenure review last year, Provost Stevenson used those words. John, we thank you for your stellar performance in every area, teaching, research, and service. Dean Kuzma, in her letter, said, John, quote, I want you to take on leadership roles in the university. It's going to be really hard for me to do that now that I've been dismissed. However, last Friday, I know I'm getting off the track of tenure, but I'm not. It's directly on track. Last Friday, not last Friday, the Friday before last, what is that, the 14th? When, for the first time, publicly stated, there will be 20, by President Calico, there will be 20 to 30 faculty who will be cut. 20 to 30. Couldn't give an exact number because it depends on how many folks that get forced into retirement, how many senior tenured faculty members whom they deem it's right for them in their life to retire. Well, retirement is a big deal. If you know anything about human beings, you know that retirement is a major life transition. It's high on the stressful life events. It's something to be taken seriously, that people prepare for. You prepare for letting go of these work commitments, this identity. And so to have this shotgun, you've got to decide in 2 weeks whether you are going to have the moral courage to drop everything to save someone else's job is emotional blackmail.
Yes.
And I'm well aware that there's someone in my department who's not ready to retire right now. But the university thinks that she's of retirement age and she could save my job. Well, that's bullshit. If I'm of value to this university, if my performance is so stellar, and you want me to take a leadership role where there's only, you know who can save my job? The people who cut it. They could save it. Yeah. So at that meeting on Friday the 14th, question and answer session, I posed a question directly to Theo Calico. Hey, you're trying to force these folks to have some sort of deal where you retire. Why don't you open it up? Can someone be voluntarily retrenched? I asked, could you voluntarily retrench me? And a week later, I got my wish. Now what I'm saying is, I don't want to be a saint Maximilian Kolb who offers his body up. Well, this is what the dean told me. They're taking a shotgun approach through the departments, and they're looking to get rid of bodies. Direct quote. So I gave you my body, and I didn't curse right there because my 6-year-old is here. But I gave you my body. We don't need saints here. We need authentic leaders who are going to... Who will not ask something of someone else unless they're willing to turn the question on themselves. You want to sacrifice for us and retire to save someone's job. Theo and Michael, what kind of sacrifice, personal sacrifice are you making? Give up. Paul Christensen, Rachel Bouvier, name the names, you could have one of them back if Theo would give up and Michael would each just give up 15% of their salaries. You could have one of them back. Ask them to step up to the plate. Yeah. You set it up, now step up.
Need this thing, but I'll use it. I would like to follow up on that because I don't believe in telling the endlessly tiresome story of overcoming one's difficulties and being a success. But I want to tell something else. I am old enough to retire. And when I started getting endless, I don't know how many notes about how I could have an incentive of a little money if I would retire, I became furious. And I decided one more note and I'm going to send back, don't call me, I'll call you. But here's why. You need senior faculty as well as junior faculty. When they pick off the people who can speak back to them without fear, you will have no one who can do it. And so, it's on or off, I don't know. I don't need it. The point, there's nothing like a little practice in acting, though of course we don't need theater. I want to make a point that is personal, and I am being self-aggrandizing. Many years ago, in the 70s, I started working on Scottish literature. The first time I came into Waverley Station, the train, there was a loudspeaker asking for me to come to the center because they wanted to interview me, because I was working on McDermott. Nobody cared then in America about Scottish literature. At the end of this next month, at the end of April, I'm going to Scotland because I've been invited to become an honorary member of the Association for Scottish Literary Studies because of my contributions to Scottish literature. And that's in a group of people that includes Seamus Heaney, for example. Now, why does this matter? Two reasons. Number one, I didn't know when the University of Michigan forced me to learn Anglo-Saxon and two other languages, that it would make it possible for me to do that work. It was supposedly pure research. But that's why I've been able to do this. So when I go to Scotland, I am honored as a person who has helped bring attention around the world to Scotland. And when I am here, the trustees talk to me as if I were the tweenie in upstairs, downstairs. I don't know who they think they are to talk to people with far more education, far more knowledge, and far more intellect, as if we were servants. I have one more thing to say. When I started this Scottish research years and years and years ago, nobody saw it as practical. This September, there will be a vote in Scotland on whether to have independence from England. The United Kingdom may break up, and I will know why.
It's an education in the demise of the importance of ethics. Ethical action is something we're supposed to learn about at the university level. And what we're seeing is part of the demise of ethical values in our culture because the notion of the common good is completely foreign to the trustees and the administration, apparently, and everyone who I'm a faculty person, and we heard one of you today. The only other thing I want to say is I am in the English department, Eve Raymond, I have never been so proud to be here, to work here, ever in my 7 We're just saying that somebody speaking this morning said that the faculty was from theater, said the faculty were under our protection. And that was the most moving thing to us that I have ever heard in the 20 years that I've been here. So I want to thank all of you.
Because I am. My name's Lorraine Carroll. I'm in the English department. I'm also in Women and Gender Studies. And I also teach in the American New England Studies, which was summarily locked off without any question or any deliberation with the Faculty Senate. Speaking to you as also an alum of USM. I graduated from this university, and it made it possible for me to go to Johns Hopkins University and get a PhD. And when I got my PhD, I had several job offers in different places in the country. And I chose to come back here to teach the students of the state of Maine because I knew what a USM degree meant. I got to thank La Gish here because I wouldn't have gotten it if I hadn't had her. And I just want to say to you, one of the most important things you have to remember as you go forward, as we go forward, is that we are under each other's protection. We don't take the lies that are handed to us. We think critically. We move forward with love, with compassion, and with incredible strength.